everyone, welcome to the Strip Down to Love podcast video where the essence of love comes from within. I am your host, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here with me in this very moment. As you know, today is the first episode of the Strip Down to Love podcast video, and I am so excited to be here. So, to start off, we have background and objectives to go over, essentially what you will get out of the podcast. You will learn a little bit about me and why I feel it was important for me to share this information with you. To start, let's take a deep breath in and out. Imagine the softest white light coming down and embracing your body. Take another deep breath in and out. You can pause here and do this practice as many times as you need to and continue when you are ready. Now that you've done this, say, I am here to just be. I am here and relaxed. I am here to remember and I am ready to continue. Let's dive into the framework or background of the Strip Down to Love podcast video. During the time that we spend here together, here in the Strip Down to Love podcast, I will discuss and share elements that have the ability to cultivate love. This podcast is one starting point to the journey inward. Look at it as a gateway to hope, happiness, joy, money, and spiritual expansion. But don't forget, love. These elements are already in you if you didn't know. I share a blueprint towards self-help and self-love. Learn how to harness the power of positivity and how to create your own reality through love. What will you get out of the podcast, you may be thinking? Well, we explore current events, culture, and how spirituality ties into them. You will learn beneficial skills that will assist you in elevating your health, amplify your physical and mental well-being, as well as your spiritual well-being. Learn how to grow exponentially in any area that you choose, and why the universe supports your growth. These skills include gently sifting through specific feelings that may make you uncomfortable and learn how to navigate them. My hope is that with the information I provide, you will learn how to dissolve barriers and build new healthy barriers that are in alignment with your true self, that help you to go inward to align. Each element that we discuss is an important ingredient in creating a fruitful daily journey and, in broader perspective, a rewarding and prosperous life. Some of the topics here may be uncomfortable, but the journey back to your heart isn't always easy. This is your journey back to your heart. What can you find here? Well, simply put, you can find spiritual gems. I mean, have you ever had an aha moment or a moment when you ask, why is this happening to me? Now, take those situations, hardships, monumental wins, and look at them through a spiritual lens. For me, anyway, it made me appreciate things more, including the hard times. It made me appreciate things to the point that I know how to savor such feelings, and it feels so good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, spiritual awareness, requires much maintenance. Moving on to how often I will post content. So I will post content every other Tuesday, and it will be on several platforms. Before I begin and tell you a little bit about myself, I'd like to share a disclaimer. As a disclaimer, I'm not here to step on anyone's religious beliefs or have people convert to the ways that I practice. I'm only sharing items of knowledge that have helped me along my journey, and information shared here is strictly from the heart. So, before we get into story time, I want to share this with you. I urge you to remember you are valued and you are an investment. By investing and sharing with you, I invest in myself, and together we give back to humanity. You deserve to remember and really enjoy life. So, let's strip down to love. The biggest question that I get is, why did you even start or desire to start the Strip Down to Love podcast video? What moved you to do so? It's basically because I love helping people, and I didn't know how much I enjoy helping people until I got into my profession. There was no other reason than I want to share information and be effective. I don't have to be right, but being effective and assisting people in their life is very, very pertinent, important to me, and I want to share and help others. I want to be able to have others feel supported, and this podcast video allows me to do just that. Essentially, I wanted to create a safe space or hold space for others to come, enjoy, learn, gain information, and heal, and go inward towards love. I mean, or you could just come here and, relax and pick up spiritual information. Either way, your journey is supported. All right, so in this next section, you'll learn a little bit about me and why the fundamental beginnings as to why I think that it is important to share this information with you. I'm trying to scroll back to figure out a good place to start. All right, so I grew up in a household where it was very, very goal-oriented. I mean, the only thing that moved a person to get up every day was a specific goal, a specific task. My father is a very hard worker, and that is just how he's built. That's how he's engineered, and he is the he's the patriarch of the family. And my mother, she's the love. She's a very loving woman, and I am very grateful for both of them. So growing up in a goal-oriented household didn't leave much room for trying to feel and figure things out. You were, I guess you could use, conditioned to get to your goal, to not experience the things that were experienced in the fact to enjoy the total experience. You were conditioned to just get there. And so that didn't leave a lot of room for sifting through to feeling, to figuring out how you're feeling at that moment during the journey, or at the beginning of the journey, at the end of the journey. It's just the fact that you got there, and that's all that matters. So when I was at this point, when I was 22 years old, and I had just broken up with my 6.5-year boyfriend, and my mother had just gone through a major surgery. So and at that time I didn't know if I was gonna have a mom anymore at that time. And I had just broken up with my 6.5-year boyfriend. So everything was a little bit up in the air. Everything was not guaranteed. So being trained as a goal-oriented, person, you're kind of left, or feel like, the rug is just taken right out from under you. Where is your heart? You don't know where your heart is. You're trying to get it back and rediscover it. So when I also was in college, trying to head towards finish my undergraduate at that time, and I was trying to keep every single piece of my life together, with still trying to keep my goal in mind. I was in, I believe, my last year of college when this was occurring, and my heart was broken, and it felt as if it was ripped right out of me. So I went to my parents, and I looked at them with pure sadness in my eyes, and I said to them, I don't know if I can continue. I am so sad and broken. What should I do? Please help me. What should I do? And they looked at me, and with love, of course, but they looked at me and asked me, so we understand that you are sad, and how are you going to fix this sadness? How are you going to get up and keep going? And I looked around, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to continue. I have no tools. Therefore, I want this podcast video to be a whole chest, a whole bag of tools that you can carry around with you and use at your disposal. Because I want people's life's journeys to be great. And if I can help in making less ideal situations a little bit more tolerable, then I want to be able to do that. So, going back to my story, so I was in my last year and semester of college, and to say the least, I became this very, very hardened being. I maybe wasn't using the best coping mechanisms to help to heal my heart. And at the time, I thought that these specific coping mechanisms were really healing me and truly helping me to find my heart again. But in actuality, they really weren't. I became this cut off being that, now that I look at it, I didn't even know myself at that time. I was dead inside, and I was just a robot trying to get to the end goal, which was to graduate college. It was so dark. It was such an extremely dark time, and that was filled with so much pain. I mean, the level of pain that I had acquired from that breakup, I would never wish it on my worst enemy or someone that just really wasn't, I wouldn't wish it on someone who didn't take the time to be nice to me. Let's just put it that way. So I was suffering. I created this shell which made me very, very unapproachable. I ended up, for many years after that, I didn't want to look at people. I didn't want to partake in anything. And except, I guess, my soul wanted to continue to partake, or not my soul, actually, my human self that was trying to fix my soul wanted to partake in things that were pushing me further away from my true self, from my journey back home. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I was very, very unapproachable. I was dead inside. I lived in so much fear that I did not want people to approach me, because I didn't know if I was to answer that person, if they would accept me or if they would hurt me, like how I have been hurt, in the recent past at that time. And I was essentially sending out this specific energy to the universe saying, please leave me alone. I don't want anything unless it is filled with pain. But now, for the past, I guess you could say like 3 years or 2.5 years maybe, I have, at that time, I was trying and crossing my fingers, hoping, just looking for anything, anyone, something to save me. But now that what I've learned over the past, 3 years or so, that the only person that is gonna save you is you. And yes, it does take work, and it takes daily work, and the work isn't easy. The journey back to your heart isn't always easy, and going inward, and I understand that. So if I just want you to know that you don't have to be on this journey alone, because you're not alone. I always wish that I had that one person at that time that believed in me and could help me through that journey. But all I had was myself, and I was, doing things to myself. That hurt me, but I have taken so much information from that situation that has abundantly helped me to find my heart, to find my power and my love. And if anyone feels alone, I really don't want you to feel alone. We can do this together, and that's why I want to just put this content out. And if it's just one thing from one episode that you find that is helpful, that you can use at your disposal throughout your days or your moments, your minutes, hours, seconds, then your life will, you will thank yourself. And so I think that I've shared everything that I want to share, and I am so ready to be here with everyone and to embrace this time. So now that the Stripped Down to Love podcast is coming to an end, take a deep breath in and out. Seal up all of that exciting information that you get to look forward to every other Tuesday. Take another deep breath in and out. I want you to remember you are valued and you are an investment. Your success is important to me. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Stripped Down to Love podcast video. Until next time.